So over to you.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's still quite early here. It's like 5 something a.m. But it's good to be here. So I would share some of my story, but before I start, I would probably also share my screen and then walk you through the slides. If you have any question, let me know. If you cannot hear me, let me know as well.
Could you increase our volume, please?
Can you hear me well now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, you can. Okay.
Yes. Nice.
Okay, let me try to see if I can share my screen. Window.
Any problem?
No, give me a minute. I'm trying to. Okay. Let me know if you can see my screen and what you can see.
Yes.
So what can you see?
What it means to be a data professional.
Yeah, that's the only thing you're seeing on my screen, right? Not the other couple of slides.
No.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, because I don't know why my stuff, I can't really see you guys anymore, but I'll keep talking and then when I'm done, we can I can stop sharing my screen. So when we first spoke, like you said, immediately I got his ping on LinkedIn. God already told me whatever he says, just help them out. And I'm like, okay, okay. So when we spoke and he said, oh, I wanted you to speak at this hackathon and all that. And I said, okay, no matter how we speak about data, because of where the world is going now, we have to speak about AI because there is no meaning of data right now without talking about AI. And positioning yourself, one might think, oh, it's just data, or what does data have to do? It has a lot to do even with the AI, because AI is the act of using things to then create things that humans would have done, right? So you are trying to optimize the way humans work by using things that looks very nonsensical, like typing what you want to type and getting the exact information you want. Unlike before, where you have to program, do this over and again to be able to get the same results. And it's been a long time coming. AI, when I was working at JP Morgan, I remember the head of AI, she said she got a PhD in computer science in 1986. And I'm like, oh my God. And she was one of those, no, she's not even one of those. She was the one, I think, that created Robocop, or was part of the team that created Robocop game that everybody plays. And it was just so fascinating to learn from her what to do, how to kind of approach it. And before it actually hit limelight, and now everybody is all about AI, AI, AI. So even in the world of AI, in the world of data science, what does it mean to be a data professional? So that's what we are going to talk about today, and also turning data into decisions. So let's get started. I remember one of you just said it when he asked the question that, oh, where is data, or what is data? And then one said, oh, in your Excel file, your CSV. And then somebody also mentioned data is everywhere, which is very correct. Data is everywhere. What we are doing right now, it's voice data. By the time you glean out of it, you can actually get everything I'm talking about, every response I'm getting. And so you can actually take data from that as well. Every time you turn on your phone, and for those of you that use the Siri on your phone, let's say you are using an iPhone and you say, "Hi Siri," and you start talking, how does it know to initiate itself when you say "Hi Siri"? It's because there is already a data tagging. There's a tagging, a voice tagging that says when it hears Siri, whether it's intentional or not, it gets to get the data from you, right? So whether you're talking and doing everything, it's recording. And over time, people are using this to run ads. That's why you would say something just in your house, and the next time you open Instagram or you open Facebook or you try to Google something, you start seeing what you've said. It's because your words, everything you're saying around your house, because you keep it's recording on the fly until you say I Siri or A Siri, and then it get activated, but it has always been recording. So then you start seeing ads generated and all that, because they are gathering the data from you to learn of you, to understand what you need. But it's not all the data that is useful. It is the insights that they create from the data that is needed, which is very rare. And that's where you come in as a data professional. That's what you do. That's what you want to do. How can I turn this data that is everywhere? How can I turn this into meaningful insights? Now I'm going to talk about what I've done so far, my career journey. I remember when I got to the US, I just finished my undergraduate degree, and I finished with a first class, the only first class in my department in economics. And back in Nigeria, I was always traveling to go see different professors in other universities that are really using, back then it was SPSS and SAS. And I would tell them I want to learn, and they're like, "Oh, you're not a computer science student, you're just an economics student." I said, "I want to learn how to use it for economics, for data, for statistics, and all that." And that was where I actually got into the, what's it called, being intentional about not just schooling, but also taking classes that can elevate what I'm doing. And I started getting my hands dirty, writing, writing SAS code, using SPSS. SPSS is more like an interface, so it's more easy to pick and all that. And so when I got here and I couldn't find a job on time, I went back to school, studied my first master's in applied probability and statistics. And afterward, I finished. The day I was dropping my pen, I actually got two job offers, and I picked the one with Nielsen. At Nielsen, I started off as a research scientist, and within, I think, 6 months or so, it was changed to a data scientist role, because my role got more analytical and technical, and it was for TV ratings. So it was a whole new domain I did not understand a lot about, and I worked there for 4 years curating ratings for shows that would need to go down because their ratings are very low. And I realized that, a lot of these things that we do in class are playing so much key roles, like the statistical modeling and understanding even data. And then all the data you receive, they are not always going to come structured. So some were structured, some were unstructured, and then you have to understand how to be able to get information out of the data you've received. And after that, I worked at Caterpillar as well, as a data scientist 3. It was their aftermarket solution. I think this one was what actually forced me into leadership, because then I'll be asked to present. So it's not just getting the data and pitching it to your superior, maybe to your immediate manager or to the next director or couple of directors. This role actually gave me more visibility, because every time I present my work, I would tell them that, I don't, we just need to talk to the clients, we just need to do this, we need to do that. I would always give action steps to take. And so instead of the manager going and speaking on my behalf, they will say, "Oh, Toyin, why don't you present it yourself?" And I started going to different dealership. I remember traveling to Finning, Canada, to Edmonton, to present some of the things I think we should start implementing. And the MVP we're building as at that time, my team and I. And it was very fascinating, because I've not gotten that level of leadership before. In fact, that kind of visibility before. But then I realized, to take away, that it's not about just the SQL you can do, or some will call it SQL, like grabbing data from the database or writing Python code, writing SAS code, but it's understanding the business problem enough to actually ask the right questions. So every time you see a data, in as much as you know that you're going to be involved in it, whether it's going to be from the exploratory phase or from any point you're going to deal with that data, make sure you understand what is the problem here. What problem are we trying to solve? So it's not just about, let's just start coding, let's just start programming. No, it's what are we trying to solve? What's the end goal? And sometimes you wouldn't know the end goal. They will just say, okay, explore the data. So when you start exploring the data, you have to start tying the rope together to understand what it really means to be able to um, um, get information, get insights out of the data. And then I joined JP Morgan in 2021. I started as a senior AI research scientist and was later promoted to vice president AI um, research lead. At the same time, I was actually doing my third master's. It's an executive MBA at Chicago, but it was much harder. But I knew that I cannot slack down because it was at this point that AI was already getting so much visibility, and I was thinking to myself that how can I make sure that I'm giving myself in terms of how to work, what to do, what to research. And this work was more difficult because it's like playing catch up with whatever is happening. So whatever is going on, you want to quickly run the research. If they say, oh, ChatGPT said you can now do this, or Claude is claiming that you can do this, or what is going on, or you find something that is a bug that is going on, or you realize that you can do much more, or things that you need to avoid. Then hallucination was the game. Oh, you have to avoid hallucination, or this and that. You want to be able to run series of experiments to make sure that, okay, now that they've gone through time, it's been over a year, 2 years, and all that, have they been able to stop hallucination? When they stopped, or at least reduce hallucination, what's the downside of that? What's the upside of it? So if they reduce hallucination, what else was increased? Because there's always a give or take, right? So you need to understand what's the other side of it. And those are a lot of my research work is online. If you Google me on Google, if you put my name in Google Scholar, you will see some of my research work. So it was always divided around research work and also business use cases and proof of concept. Now anybody can build proof of concept. As you're in this room, whatever challenge you pick up today and you're done with, start thinking about business use cases that you can apply it to, that is outside what you've done. It's just like if you create a product for something, what can it also be used for? So start looking into that as well, and putting the puzzles together. And I had opportunities to really publish a lot of my AI research in conferences, different speaking engagements, and all that. This is to say that there is no one way to go along this career path. It can lead you to anything, but it can lead you to major ways and notes in life, but you have to always stay hungry. So I would go ahead now to actually share what what does it mean? What should be that DNA of a data professional? What should you have that would actually show that you're a data professional, and you can actually start fine-tuning your skills to push it into anywhere you want to use it? The first is your technical fluency. That one cannot be overemphasized, but the beauty of it now is that AI is doing so much that if you understand a little, at least understand the base, the foundation, it's easy to scale up because AI is here to amplify whatever you're doing. And so whether it is SQL or SQL, whatever way you call it, Python, at least understand some statistical modeling, and also understand AI. And when I say AI, I know a lot of people, when they say AI, they just think it's LLM. No, go back to those foundations of AI, like natural language processing, NLP, reinforcement learning, all those type of things. You can understand them even just in a little way. This will help you to kind of think through. I remember when this program started, like a few minutes into the program, it was saying that, oh, a lot of people out there, they are not even believers. So this is a believers meeting. So you need to think about it. How can I be more impactful? What can I do to position myself? They were listing the people, the richest people in the world. They had Elon Musk, they had Larry, and then they had Jeff Bezos. And I was looking at the list. I said, oh my God, where is my name here? I said, I have to put my name somewhere here. My name must be in this top 5. It must not go all the way down and say, oh, there are a couple of them millionaires, but that's where you see only Christians. But the billionaires, we've not seen the righteous there. So having this foundation itself helps you to think more. What can I create? I can be a creator. I don't have to be a consumer. And then business acumen, like I said before, understanding the analysis itself. So it's not just presenting your work. How does it connect to cost? Is this going to reduce the cost? So let's say you go back to work now and they're saying next year we want to be AI ready, we want to do our data readiness for AI. Immediately you have to be one of them that will embrace it. In fact, you can start calculating the KPIs that how does this reduce the cost? What are the risks that we should factor into all these things? What are the downside? What are the upside? What will it bring to us in terms of revenue? How will it even increase our visibility? All these things you have to be able to do. And whatever you do, your data must tell a story. Now, the beautiful thing is whether you are using Power BI or you are using Tableau, there is now AI infused. There's a plug-in to all these things. I was attending a Copilot conference last week. It was actually in you guys' time. It was in London. And they were talking about the capabilities in Copilot now and how Copilot is now infused into Power BI. I was very, very astonished that, oh, this is nice. I mean, one can also build dashboard using Python and you can always infuse that curate insights on the fly. I mean, you could do this also through Tableau, but now it's like you don't need slides and you don't need so much dashboards anymore. Now you can just have your dashboard, infuse it. I said infuse, my bad. Like plug in your LLMs to it or using Copilot because Copilot already has that embedded in it and start using it to curate insight on the fly. So when an executive is asking you that, how is this doing? How do you think we could do? What's the projection? You can easily type it in and it start churning out the plausible results for you that you can then say, okay, let me fine tune this better so that we can use it to generate forecast and understand what the trend would look like in 2 months, in 3 months, and all that. So it must tell a story. And also curiosity. You must be able to ask why. When you are presenting your data, people must be so glued to it and they must see how relentless you are in terms of understanding what needs to be done, where are we going, even the gap that is missing, they can recognize it because you have presented it, that this will be the next thing I want to face having done this. That alone makes you stand out. And I think in my career journey, that has been something that has been very helpful, that I'm able to ask questions and even tell them, I know there's a gap in this, but this is what I want to face next. But pending that time, this is what I've done. That helps a whole lot, a whole lot. Now, beyond your technical skills, having Python is good. Like I said, AI is already helping you to do that. So you won't need to lift the heavy weights in the future. When I say in the future, it's just a month from now. A lot of companies will actually have you adopt it. But then you still have to understand that whatever you build, it must be easy for people to consume it. That means whatever you're building, whether it's a dashboard, I feel like presentation deck is almost dead, but we can still use it for cases like this. Whatever it is, it must be something that people can understand what's the action, what's the next step. And like the first point here that says that, oh, you might think, but I'm not the manager, I'm just an analyst. I'm just doing the barest minimum here. I have a whole lot of chain ahead of me. Of course, yes, but you can start shaping it that when you give them, like I told you, after leaving Nielsen and going into Caterpillar, I was thinking that, oh, all I would do is as a data scientist 3, I know it's a senior level role, but I will just present my work. But then I realized that I can even do much more. I started shaping the way things should go. Before you knew it, they actually gave me the mandate that, okay, why don't you start presenting? Why don't you start the change management? Even though change management was never on my job description, I started change management. I started training the labs on understanding analytics, on understanding what this means, how to eat your target and eat and all that. And I had no industry knowledge of what Caterpillar has done so far. I mean, even during my interview, I remember them asking me that, why did you choose Caterpillar? I said, well, back in Nigeria, every truck, everything you see on the road, it's always, oh, Caterpillar. We just call the name Caterpillar. I said, and now seeing your 10K report, you guys are still here, you are still thriving. I want to be part of the story. And they said, oh, do you understand any of our data? I said, I do not understand, but I'm sure that when I get into that game, once I start looking at the data, I will definitely understand it. And that's where being comfortable with ambiguity comes into play. That means you're ready to get into that messiness of the data to try to curate insight from it. Do not be afraid, whether you are moving from health to now manufacturing or whatever way your career takes you. Just know that once you stay curious with God on your side, and the beautiful thing is that you have the Holy Spirit. There are days I will go into work literally speaking in tongues and praying that God, I want you to speak through my mind, speak through my vocal cord, more of you, less of me. I want you to put on me the spirit of intelligence, just like it was on Daniel. And I've seen it work lots and lots of time. So be very comfortable with ambiguity. Be ready to just use it, and you will find out that the more curious you are, the more you are resolving the problem, the more you are becoming an expert, the more you are becoming the subject matter expert that people want to be comfortable around to discuss even their own ambiguities that they found, and they are trying to make sense of it. Also, understand that people can manipulate data anyhow, but then you have to place your integrity on it as well. That means you cannot do a shady job and expect that you are excellent. You are Christian. So the Bible says, have you seen a man diligent in his ways? He will stand before kings and not before mere men. So you must make sure that there is integrity in whatever you are doing as well. A lot of experiments that I put in my publication, I always put a clause when I'm running an experiment, even if it takes hours to run one notebook of my experiment in Python, or most times it's more than 1 hour. Usually I run it for like 6 hours. It keeps running. It's because I build a contingency, I build a clause that would make me to know when it breaks and it starts giving me rubbish answer. So make sure that in anything you're doing, whether you're coding or you have started using AI, have some ways to check your code to make sure that anything they will find wrong, by the time they are going back, or there's an auditor, a data auditor, or you are auditing it, you will not be like, oh my God, Jesus, let them escape, let them miss this out. I mean, I messed up this. No, 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 that shouldn't be the way to go. Make sure that you have checkpoints that you can use to catch any error or anywhere your data is gambling at right now. So that's something I do. And the last point, lifelong learning. Stay hungry. Stay hungry. Try to learn. This is one of the ways to learn. Attending hackathons. While I was in JP Morgan, I think I run minimum of almost 4 hackathons in a year. And I'm always volunteering for such. Like, you can learn a lot from people, because you have people that are very good at this and you have the others good at this. And by the time you rub minds together, it's just very, very profound. And yes, this is where I want to demystify the myth. I know somebody also mentioned, oh, AI is ready to replace a lot of things, and I'm here. The truth is that it won't necessarily replace you if you know what you're doing. That means if they are looking for the people that would help people to curate the kind of intelligence needed, or to be a guard, the human that will be in loop. So there's something called human in loop, right? The human in loop that would work with agents. So unlike how you have a manager and you have humans under them that will just be, oh, this person works, I work for this manager. Going forward from next year, you have managers and then you have agents, AI agents that will work under such manager, and human in loop that will work side by side with those agents until they become autonomous. So you have to understand, you have to embrace AI in such a way that it does not look like it's replacing you, rather it's amplifying what you do. So if you were taking time before to write code, now that you have been given within your organization access to do this, to do this, to use this one, to use that one, now you get to do your work for a much shorter period of time. So see AI as a force multiplier. So when you finish the hackathon today, to start thinking about it, where can I have pushed AI into this that will make it much shorter for me, and I'll be able to maximize my time in terms of what I'm doing. So see it like that, and once you embrace it like that, you will start seeing everything you can do. What can I put an agent on? And can I call this one a retrieval agent, an analyst agent, and all these ones? And before you know, your life is easier. 3 agents are working for you, and you are the human in loop directing the course of it. So you are becoming an architecture. You are the one that designs the architecture. Instead of being the one doing the work, they are doing the work. You are making sure that everything is working as is. This is an example of what it looks like now when you are writing. When I say now, that was months ago. because now a whole lot of this is changing. Even I know a lot of my experiment that I will write the code and I will toss it into large language model, and I will say refine my code to make it run faster, and it would refine the code. But the truth is that I wrote the code, so I know what it's refining. So you don't just want to be one of them that will just type. Those are for non-technical. So if you are technical and you know technical, that means you know how to run codes and all that. And then you also know AI is like putting icing on a cake. So you're in a beautiful space. So before now, you just manually you write your SQL query or your SQL query, you build your visualization, iterate the design. They will say they don't like it, they like this. Now you don't even need to do a lot of iterations. You can just keep posting it, either you Streamlit or using HTML to send it off to those people and all that. There's just a lot of ways to do it. But look at it now. What takes hours today now takes minutes to hours. Natural language processing. You can now write it there that I want to generate SQL code to do this. And then it would give you the code. You take the code, you start fine-tuning the code yourself. You generate your first draft. You generate your summary, and then you also update your dashboard. You can say, design a dashboard that will do this for me. And now it takes you from, it's like role shifting, like I explained. It takes you from being the one burdened with all the building capabilities to now being the one just designing the architecture. And then instead of you creating, you are curating and validating. So there's still that validation work that needs human in loop, and you need to set yourself in that space to become that human in loop that can do this. So we have also different AI applications. I mean, I already kind of covered a lot of this, like having it in plain English. A lot of you already doing it in maybe using ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and the likes. They are all there. But you can use it even in your dashboard. That's why I'm saying that now there's Power BI Copilot. Now you can design it in such a way that you can say, show me sales by region for Q3 compared to last year. That means it's looking at, that means the dashboard and the data, they are touching each other. So now, as a data professional, you are the one that will help your company to be data ready. There is no use of AI creating AI agents without a database that is ready. Their data needs to start touching each other. They need to stop being in silos and start touching each other, so that when you say, show me the sales for Q3 compared to last year, it can quickly know where to extract last year's data versus this year data. That's also part of data readiness. AI will not necessarily do this because it's like garbage in, garbage out. So you have to also prepare. There are building blocks that needs to be put in place before you can actually embrace AI in a more succinct way, I mean. So this needs human and this needs you and I. And that's where we need to also position ourselves much better. I already mentioned this too, so I want to go through it again. And like I told you, career path is not going to be linear, but these are the kind of career paths that you can actually enjoy in data world. You can go from, I've never been a data analyst anyways, but I started as a data scientist immediately. Some of you can find yourself from data scientist, you join into data architect. Now, a lot of data scientists role will become like a data architect, because now it's more like you are just designing the architecture, the end-to-end pipeline and all that. Or ML engineer, I think I saw somebody that says it's highly involved in machine learning, and a whole lot, even much more than this. It's going to change over time. This will be so intertwined that you won't understand who is an engineer versus who is a data scientist or who is AI. It's all going to be kind of intertwined. So you can pick any career path, and it's not linear. You can jump from one to another as well. So the encouragement for today would be that as you go ahead in this hackathon challenge for today, as you form teams, you pick your challenge, just remember that you are not building just a dashboard. There is so much to it than that. You are creating a tool that will be easy for someone to make a decision with. So it's not about the aesthetic of the dashboard alone, it's the usage. The usability of the dashboard is also very expedient. So don't just focus on, oh, if I do this, it will look fancy so that I can win. No, it's how useful is this? How easy to deploy is this tool? If a non-technical person is looking at it, can they actually find it useful, and much more. And so that's it. Let's go and turn data into decision. And while at it, to have fun, be okay to make a mistake and walk through it, and it's going to be amazing. Okay. Thank
you very much for such a wonderful presentation. So now we'll be moving to the question and answer section. So if anybody has a question, please just indicate by raise of hand. Any
Let's ask questions.
please?
Let's ask.
No question
I
is
have a
foolish.
question. I have a question. So when you were making your presentation, you said something about the Power BI now being connected directly to Copilot. Is that very common now? Is it just something that's still coming off like?
I think it's fairly new. It's fairly new because actually in the conference I said I attended this on Wednesday, and AstraZeneca, I think that's the name of the company. They are one of the frontiers of Microsoft. So they were actually showing how they've embedded Copilot into everything in terms of their automated email draft and all that, and also into the analytical tools as well. So I immediately, because my default is to research immediately. So once the whole meeting was over, I went straight and said Power BI Copilot, and I found it there. That it's actually there. So I think it's a capability now. It now depends on if your company is using it already, if they are already onboarded on it, because you have to be onboarded into Copilot itself to be able to use Power BI Copilot. So, but I think the capability is there. It's just if you have access to it just yet.
So does it have to do with the company? If an individual is running it, is it still a company level, or has it come down to an individual level where you can plug it on individual level? Let's say you've got your own personal gig, you want to plug it in.
I think based on what I know Microsoft build, they always build it either for B2C or B2B. They always open it up very easily because an individual like us could be founders, right? You could have your own gig, you have your own company, something you are doing on the side or something you are doing as the main thing. So it's definitely, I believe if you check, you should be able to use it. Or even if you can join, even if it's not out there, you can see, you can ask if you can join the test run. So I remember when I was in JP Morgan and they wanted to adopt Copilot, I was one of those that actually test run it. Like I got onboarded very early. I think I was one of the 200 people in the whole JP Morgan testing Copilot to see its usefulness and its capability and giving big feedback. So if you go online and you Google it and you see that you can find it, that you can use it, you can check if you can do like a demo or a test run for individual for the B2C. So that's something you can look into, but I'm not really sure. Yeah. But great question.
If I may add to what you have said, the Copilot on Power BI currently, you can't use it as an individual because you need to sign in with your work or school email for you to be able to access it. So for now, if you, or maybe you have your own organization and you registered with Copilot or be onboarded, but without that, you just have to use Power BI on its own without the Copilot. So do we have any other questions from anybody, please?
Yes.
All right.
So thank you so much for the session. I would like to know, what was your biggest challenge going into the data space? Yeah, that's my first question. And my second question is based on selling yourself. I had an interview recently on Wednesday, and when I was done, I felt like I didn't sell myself well enough. Like I'm better than this. Like I'm not trying to be proud or cocky, you know. I know there's a thin line between pride and the other one. So I was like, how do I sell myself better? That was what the Holy Spirit has told me, that guy, you can't be doing like this. You have to start selling yourself better. So that's my second question. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So let me start from the first question, like how did I get into the data space? I would say this started from Nigeria. So as an economics student, everybody, we're all focused on different things, just passing the exam. But I was more curious about life, like, okay, what do I want to do going forward? And I got very comfortable with going to United Nations database, World Bank database, and I started looking at all the data they were collating and all that. And I would see a lot of missing data, and then they will put extrapolated, extrapolated, extrapolated. And I said, so is this how we'll be doing for life? Like every data for Africa is extrapolated from 10 years ago, that, oh my goodness, what can you make out of it? And that was what got me curious, that not every big data is meaningful, because you need to also understand, are they all extrapolated to this point in time, or are they real data? Where are they collecting it from? Where is their data source? So I think it's curiosity that got me comfortable with data, that, okay, what can we do differently as African nation to set ourselves up? Or is it even better for us that they don't have our real data, so that we can build something in-house that makes us unique? What's our selling point? And I think that was what got me comfortable. So every domain I then worked. And one of the beautiful things is working in multiple domains. Like, it's not just healthcare, it's going from economics, TV, the economy, which is Nielsen, to Caterpillar manufacturing, and now to the finance service. A lot of people will want to stay linear, change roles, but stay in the same industry. And then they only understand one thing. So those multiple domains actually helped me to get more comfortable. That means whatever application I've used in one domain, I can actually port the same skill set and use that to understand it. But then because a lot of people in that domain have only been in that domain for years, so I bring a new brainwave. So that's actually my selling point. Every time I interview, I tell them I bring my multi-domain skill set into play, where I can understand what is going on from here and here, and I can actually connect it. And there are some jargons you will use as a biostatistician that you will not use in another one. It does not even fit into Caterpillar, which is manufacturing. But then I will realize that I can change it out. That was the churning rate. What's this one? I just change the verbiage, and then it becomes a new KPI. I say, oh, yeah, Toyin got us a new KPI. No, I did not. I just changed the words to make it match. And that make you very intelligent. Oh my God, you're so smart. That's it. You are using, and that's not, you're not blowing your, and there's something too. A lot of us Christians, we want to feel humble, because they say, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God. Is it under the mighty hand of your employer? No, it's under the mighty hand of God. It's because you cannot be bigger than God, but God said you'll be the head and not the tail. Do you know how David bragged when he went to kill Goliath? He was only coming to give his brothers food, and then he had one uncircumcised Philistine and said, what's wrong with this guy? And all of them have been living in fear, and they now look at this David, this tiny boy, coming. He said, who is that guy that is defying the armies of God? And he's coming with his full self, and he wasn't bragging, because he's coming in the name of the Lord. And I think that's what we need to know, that there are places that God wants you to brag. Like, just put me in front, let me display what I'm full of. He said he's happy. He's happy. God enjoys it. So sometimes you're thinking that, oh, maybe no, do it. I will tell them, mention it. When they're saying, oh, I say, no, mention it. Because just like God said, he said he made us in his own image and likeness. So if they're mentioning it and you feel like that accolades is making your head swell, that's how God feels. God himself is like on the throne, like, oh my God. Like, he's not going to shout, oh my God, because he's God. But he's going to feel so elated because his son, his daughter is making him proud. So wherever you are, in any interview you are doing, sell yourself. You cannot wink in the dark. Can you imagine winking in the back? Nobody will even see that you're winking. And it's whatever you put out there. You are not being cocky. You are just stating what you've done. That's why I would tell people that nowadays, for people that code, have a GitHub. All these things, put it in your profile, so that when people go to your portfolio, they can see what you've done. You don't need to brag. And then they are asking you questions, and you are using only one single scenario to run through a whole 1 hour interview, and they are piggybacking on it and saying that, oh, for example. And sometimes I go into interviews, and I'm speaking in tongues and telling God, I don't really know half of the job I'm applying for, but I know your grace is sufficient for me. And they will just start laughing and be telling me that I'm funny, that I'm like a comedian. I'm like, oh my God, that don't worry, that even if I cannot deliver this in the first quarter, at least be sure that you get a lot of jokes out of me to make you guys happy, and then I'll catch up. And they will start laughing, and I will think, oh man, I'm not getting this thing. And then they'll say, congratulations, you got the job. I'm like, okay, what did they see? I thought they were all laughing. I thought we've not done the real interview. And for a lot of my interviews, that's how it has been. Even from the one from JP Morgan, I remember going for that interview with JP Morgan. I knew nothing about AI. I just got curious 6 years ago that now I've been in data science world for 8+ years. I said, God, what's the next big thing? And that's one thing we need to pray for. Ask God for the next big thing. You need to be there so that when it becomes big, you're already in the middle of it. You are not found wanting, trying to now adopt it, embrace it, and start shouting and screaming. No, I asked, I said, what is the next big thing? Put me there. And then I saw this job, senior, in fact, it was vice president I applied for, and they gave me senior AI research scientist. And I remember when they interviewed me, they said, so you don't know a lot. I said, no. I said, but trust me, by the end of my 3 months, I said, I would have known so much more than the people that know a lot. He said, but all the people that are here, they all have PhD. I said, I have 2 masters. That 2 masters is better than PhD. Trust me. They only know one thing, and they've done 5 years. I said, me, I know 2. And it's all applied. I say it's applied statistics, applied economics. I say you can bet on me, put a wager, like I'm sure. And I was telling God, show up for me. And that interview wasn't going as planned. And then all of a sudden, the one of the recruiter or the HR said, you didn't even send us a reminder email that you are interested. I said, oops. So I sent the reminder email and saying that I am highly interested in this to those that have interviewed me. I didn't know they were making decision that day. I just had that thing in me that sent the email now. They said the email came in the middle of them deliberating that is she a go or no go. And they said, oh my God, she just sent an email. Say, wait, let me read that email out. And they said, done, go, come on, hire her. And that's how I got the job. So I always tell people, it's not just about knowing the right thing to say. Is understanding how to also position yourself and using God. God said, you can tell God, give me the whole earth, but then which part do you want to take first? So that's the thing. I go so much with the Holy Spirit. There is no role I've taken up that I probably did not know I'm supposed to go into, including Caterpillar. I was joking with them. I told them all the trucks in Nigeria that I don't even know any other name, that you don't have competitors, so it's Caterpillar or nothing. And they were all laughing, cracking joke. I said, is that okay? Wait for the next section and all that. I thought we were about to do the next interview the next time, only for me to get a phone call that you've been given the offer, that they already looked at yourself, but they just wanted to see your interpersonal skill. How do you relate to people? Are they comfortable with you? So you might think they are cracking up that it's not going, it needs to say something that will show my skill set. That may not be what they are looking for. They're already comfortable. They've seen your resume. You don't need to shout, but they need to understand, how do you communicate with people? How friendly are you? Can you get into an interview and they are chatting with you and they are laughing with you? They would know that if you come on board, you'll be a good pal, you'll be a good colleague. Sometimes that's what they are testing for. They already know you can do it. So always understand that part on it. And number one thing is pray. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. I want to ask this question on behalf of some of us that are here that are not in the data field, but they want to apply the knowledge gained from this place in their places of work. What advice do you have for such people?
I would say for non-technical people, you're actually in a very good place as well, because all you need to know is, how do I interpret this? That means if anybody is giving me data, how can I become so data savvy that when I see it, I already know what to do? So your goal is to probably look at it, curate insight. Maybe all you get is insights from data, but now you know what can impede people's data. You know that people can actually run a bad experiment and get a bad result, but you wouldn't know because they are the ones that are running it. So you wouldn't know, they will just bring it up that no, it's not possible. So you can always say, oh, let's see the trend. Let's see this one. Let's see what are the KPIs. So all the insights you need to know, knowing that helps you to be able to understand. And this type of hackathon also helps you because people here today will go through different processes exploring the data. So now you know what questions to ask when they are going through the KPI. Say, can I see the exploratory data analysis? Can you show me all of that? Like, show me the ETL process. That's all the extract, transform, and load. That show that to me. That would help you to speak in their own diction. So immediately you start speaking in that jargon, they already know they cannot deceive you because in their own head, you are already technical when you are literally not technical. But so I would say that's a way to position yourself. And also using AI. Now you can look at it that, okay, if I have access to, say, Copilot, or I have access to Claude in my organization, or I have access to GPT, and make sure that the one you have access to is one you can put your proprietary data on. That means it does not go back to whoever those owners are, like OpenAI and all that. It stays within your company. Then you can easily take the same analysis that they've given you and say, give me the backend data. They give you the data, like just give me a sample of the data, and you start trying to do those extraction yourself to understand. It would help to position you to ask better questions as well. But trends, forecasts, all those things always helps to kind of help you stand out in terms of questioning them and understanding even the exploratory part of the data also helps a lot so that you know, oh, were there outliers? Are there one-offs? Are there these ones and all that? I think those would also be very helpful. That's the way I would probably position myself, but I've always been highly technical. So it will be very hard for me to describe, but I would say for sure now that I'm more business savvy, but then my technical stuff kicks in every time. I would say I always look at the trend in any analysis given. What are they showing me? If there's a gap, I would always ask what happened here. Oh, there's this one, it was a dip. What happened in the dip? What happened in the spike? So all those type of questions help the analyst or the data scientist to also think about ways to tell a better story with their data. So it's storytelling, I think you pay attention to, and also the KPIs. What are the business problems they need to address, and what did they really address? What did they start with? And then what was their end goal? Can you tie the ribbon together, or you still feel like there's a disconnect? I think that's where non-technical people would help a lot of technical people here.
So one final question from me, and it's this: for data professionals and those that are upcoming in their data journey, there's something common. That's the imposter syndrome. How would you advise that will handle this? Like sometimes you've done a work, you've put in everything, and you just look at it and like, I don't think this is good enough. I think I'm missing something. What if, and then you just put the work away. You don't put your work out there. So how do we deal with it? Or probably as you're starting and you just get stuck and you're like, I don't think, am I sure I'm in the right field? You start questioning your decisions about pursuing that field. So what advice do you give us regarding that?
Yeah, and based on what you said, I remember I was thinking about something when the young man in green too was asking this question that how does he approach interviews and all that, and I would tie those together. There will always be imposter syndrome, even when you finish. I remember graduating from my executive MBA this June, and I decided to take a career break. And I started telling myself, I'm doing myself a disservice. Oh, why will I want to do this? This is not good. I just spent almost 300,000. I cannot do this. No, it will always, no matter what level you get to, I just want people to know that, trust me, it's not only at the base you get imposter syndrome. The base, the middle, even when you sit in rooms, you'll be like, sometimes I'm going for my classes. These are my MBA classes, but because it's an executive MBA, have a lot of CEOs, CTO of Microsoft, this and that, they are all in my classroom. So even me looking at our badge, just our name tag, my feet will be shaking, and we are only 2 Black females in the whole 200 people program. Chicago Boots, when I entered, was the #1 in US business school. So This is me with so much fear, with all my accolades. I'm speaking everywhere. And then I will still get to the class and I'll be saying, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Jesus, help me. Oh my God. And they'll say any question, I'll just hide. And then I'm like, why will I hide? I'm one of the 1%. I'm a 1% of 1%. And then I'll tell myself, even in the class, Toyin, head up, shoulder high. And they were like, oh, Toyin, do you want to say anything? I said, no, I'll pass on for now. Like later on, when it's AI, they ask me question. I take over the whole class, start talking about AI. And then everybody start coming to me. I got comfortable in it. So there will always be that. And I remember even coming up to. So what I usually do is I go to the front of the mirror. Oh, my mirror, if you can talk, if my mirrors can talk, they will, the revelation they will reveal like, oh no, Toyin has finished us. We at this point we know everything she wants to become in the world. No, I face my mirror every day and I talk the way I want to look. I present my work to the mirror before I actually started this section. It's a habit for me already. I've been doing it for almost 15 years. Any presentation I want to do, my mirror will first get that presentation. If AI is in my mirror, I feel that it will have all the slides. I present with confidence. The one I don't know, I'll tell you, I'll pass on it. And when you're passing on it, you can tell them, let me get back to you. So when you do a job, and you feel like, oh, there's a missing gap. Like I said, and that's one of the things I mentioned on during my slide, that when you are presenting and you feel that it's not holistic and somebody's asking you questions, you say, oh, great question, let me jot that down. Let me get back to you on that. Oh yeah, that's a missing point. I didn't think about that when I was looking at the data, but great insights. You jot it down, you write it down. Nobody can ask any other question until you come back. So that's ways to actually take, but not everything now. You know, that's a good question. That means you didn't do your work. You need to do your work, put in the work, and then let it be that it's little tiny whatever that they have that you need to write down. And for any interview you are attending, always have a question for the interviewer. Your next question should not always be, we say any question for me, say no. Or they say, oh, what's the next step? That's not what they are waiting for you to ask them an intelligent question. Ask a very intelligent question, and they themselves, they will go back to go and look for the answer that, oh, I won't be the one to answer this one. Let the hiring manager answer it. Hey, you know, they must come back. They have to come back because you've challenged it. So, but that imposter syndrome, I don't think it can go away, but there is a way to control it because it's the battlefield of the mind. We are just giving it a name, but it's all the battlefield of, you get into some rooms and you just all of a sudden feel inferior. So what I do is I change the energy. I say, what about if I'm the superior one here that everybody is cowering? That's why I carry myself like that superior one. Not that I want to go to the bigger table or look for a seat. No, I still make sure that it's just that I always make sure my head is high, my head is up, I'm not down. And even if I'm shaking, I hold my pen in my hand as if I'm about to write, because that controls I can control even if I'm shaking and I'm trembling, in as much as I have something I'm rolling in my hand, I can always control whatever I'm doing. Calm down. They are humans, so they can't eat you. They are not carnivorous animals. They are humans. They're going to go home now and sit down and be scared of something too. So I think having that at the back of your mind and knowing that you have a God, because the Bible says greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. So when you carry that kind of F1 trip, people will just look at you. In fact, you yourself, you tell God, let your presence be on me. How can God's presence be on you and then you have one imposter nonsense? It will go. It will fly off because you have God. I'm comfortable talking about it because this is a church setting. It's much harder to say it in when I'm speaking in the secular world. So this is a Christian setting. You have the God in you. So me, I always tell the God in me, be more visible than me. Where I'm shaking, make me look as if I'm confident. There have been interviews, there have been speaking engagements I've been that I was shaking all through. And then they'll come, oh my God, you are so profound. I just love all your points. And like, Jesus, what did they say? I'm sure they saw you, because not me that I know I was shaking all through. So that's one thing I would say, that it's a battlefield of the mind. Address it and practice talking to your mirror or recording yourself. Get comfortable in your voice and the way you sound, the way you carry yourself, your hand movement, your head movement. Know what it looks like in the mirror. So when you are doing it, you already know when you are shaking that, okay, no, hold your finger, hold your whatever. Some will say hold a pin so that you don't shake. But I would say pray. You can speak in tongues without praying out loud. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sis, can we just clap for her again? Uh, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how to thank you. I just want to thank you, and on behalf of the members of church leaders here, and I think maybe I will allow maybe is this Sister Bidemi or Brother George just to thank her on behalf of the church elders. Yeah, Sister Bidemi just was so we have one of the church elders here, so she will just thank you on behalf of the church.
All right, thank you very, very much. It's been a blessing. I've had like a troubled period at my place of work. So hearing all those, reassuring words from you, and maybe even aspiring people, aspiring to go into the workplace in the industry and things like that, I'm sure it's made a lot of sense, for them. So already we're just starting, and I'm already feeling motivated. So I can imagine how everybody around here feels already. I'm not the tech person, but I'm already inspired to actually go into this, knowing that God's got our back and that you are reassured every one of us. Thank you so much on behalf of every one of us. We are grateful. Thank you. We just pray that your career would continue to be more inspiring and more, forward, and God will continue to progress you in every way so that your life can be an inspiring life to everyone aspiring to be like you, even, for greater things. In Jesus' name. Thank you.
So so, thank you. Thank you so much. So my own last word is that I think you are working on the project, try to make the project like a unicorn startup. So you understand what I mean. So thank you so much. I will believe
100%.
all of that. So please help us plan for her again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to have 10 minutes break. And in Silicon Valley, get all of us to stand up, move all around. Then the real hackathon is now going to start. So please stand up, move all around. There are some little things that you can use over there. And if you have not installed your Power BI, please install it now. Because if you don't install Power BI or install, please, you have to do this very now. So please, go and install whatever you need to go and install.